Five extremely lucky suicide survivors. Number 5. Angela Schumann, near Kingston, England. 28-year-old Angela Schumann was going through a custody battle with her ex-husband over their daughter. She wrote several letters, including one saying, "I can be with my daughter all the time. I can be free and far away where no Julio, her husband, of this world can reach us and separate us. And I can be with my daughter on her birthday." In the fall of 2005, Angela jumped off Humber Bridge, 3 days prior to her daughter's second birthday, holding on to her daughter all the way down. The little girl was taken to Hull Royal Infirmary where she was found to be hypothermic, but 5 days later was able to go home. Angela Schumann spent almost 2 months in hospital for treatment to lower body fractures. In the hospital, Schumann was found to have fainted, writing on her stomach saying, "Cause of death Julio." The mother and daughter are 2 of only 5 to have ever survived a fall from Humber Bridge. Number 4. John Dittman, Seattle, Washington. John Dittman felt suicidal, blaming it on a daily regimen of taking tranquilizers to treat mental illness and drinking alcohol to offset the pills. Dittman often would stare at the Aurora Bridge from his Wallingford halfway house, and in 1979 at the age of 22 he decided to end his life with a leap off the bridge. After jumping, Dittman had a change of heart and decided he didn't want to die. Frantically threw his arms back and fought to keep his body from pitching forward and tried to keep his feet extended as he plunged 174 feet. He hit Lake Union at 70 miles per hour with a crack and struggled to swim meekly to shore. Dittman fractured his back and injured his lungs, but survived. The Seattle man is one of about 30 people who have survived a leap from the landmark bridge. Number 3. Sara Henley, North Somerset, England. This miraculous escape from death happened over 120 years ago. 22-year-old Sara Henley received a letter from her fiancé breaking up their engagement. In a state of despair, she rushed to end her life by jumping off the Clifton Suspension Bridge. That particular morning there was a slight wind blowing and Sarah's skirt was inflated, acting like a parachute, and considerably slowed down her descent. The wind also prevented her falling straight into the water. Sara lived a full life and died in 1948. Her incredible luck gave her an extra 62 years of life. Sara Henley's jump has become legend and is recorded in the official history of the suspension bridge. Number 2. Martin Hinchcliffe, East Sussex, England. In June of 1995, 15-year-old Martin Hinchcliffe had a fight with his girlfriend's parents. After writing a note to his mother saying he would kill himself, he walked to Sugar Lump Cliff on Beachy Head and jumped. 35 feet into his fall he was caught by some extending rocks and was completely hidden from view in a deep crevasse. After spending 72 hours holding on to the cliffs, his cries were finally heard by a man walking on the beach below. Coast Guard, police and firefighters went to the scene and were able to rescue Hinchcliffe, who suffered a broken leg and cracked several ribs. Hinchcliffe said he sucked on rocks during the 72 hours to avoid dehydration. Number 1. Kevin Hines, San Francisco, California. At the age of 19, Kevin Hines' battle with bipolar disorder became so intense that he finally decided to end his life. In the year 2000 he attended his first class at school, and then took a bus to the Golden Gate Bridge, crying all the way. Hines picked his spot and stood there for 40 minutes. No one approached him to ask what was wrong, and when a tourist came up and asked whether he could take her photo, Hines thought that was clear proof that no one cared. He took the picture, and then jumped. Instantly he realized he had made a mistake and thought to himself, "God save me." As he was falling, Hines came up with a plan to save his life, and threw his head back and tried to hit feet first. Hines was hurtled 40 feet underwater but miraculously survived. Hines endured arduous physical rehabilitation after his near-death experience, but said dealing with his bipolar disorder had been far more difficult. He now lives by a strict schedule, and has found a combination of drugs and therapy that allows him to regulate his manic highs and depressions. Currently, Hines works with several mental health groups and suicide prevention hotlines.